recording has started. Thank you. Um, and just to say Happy Carers Week to everybody. Carers Week is an annual campaign to raise awareness of people who provide that unpaid care and everything you do, highlighting the challenges that you face and the contribution you make to community and to your families, and also help people to identify that they are also a carer and let them know about the support that's available. And that's the real reason we put today's event on, because the theme this year is caring about equality, and one of those things is making sure that all of the people in an unpaid caring role know how to access the support that's available to them. So I'd like to welcome and thank our partners, our carers partners from across Hampshire and Isle of Wight, to join us today to provide information about the support that they provide to unpaid carers, families and friends. Can we kindly ask that you ask questions at the end of all the talks, please? Um, uh, if you don't mind, and we'll try and keep an eye on what comes up in the chat function as well. So I'd like to could I ask everybody to go on mute as well, please? So I'd like to welcome Lizzie's here from Carers Isle of Wight, Jenny Little's here from the Princess Royal Trust for Carers, Gina's here from the Portsmouth Carer Centre, Debbie's here from Unpaid Care Support Southampton, and Leanne Cooper's here from Carers Together. And we're going to start with Lizzie from the Carers Isle of Wight. So over to you, Lizzie, and thank you.
Thank you, Jane, for organising this. So I'm Lizzie from Carers Isle of Wight. We support adult carers supporting adults on the Isle of Wight. We have a carers centre in Newport that's open Monday to Friday. And we have 2 carers lounges at our local hospital that support carers who have either someone in hospital or maybe in hospital themselves. Normally, we carry out a triage appointment when we first get in touch with people and look and see what support works and what support doesn't work and what kind of help you want in your caring role. And that can be anything from training, emotional support, can be information advice, the dreaded benefits. Sometimes it's just talking to someone. It's so important to have a safe space that you can talk to someone. And I think no one asks to become a carer, do they? It suddenly lands on you, and it's really challenging and very isolating. And I think gaining from coming to somewhere like the Carer Centre across the region is so helpful to carers, because you get to meet other people in a similar position, and actually your learning from those is absolutely crucial. On the island, we're very lucky. We've now got a carer's passport, which is an ID kind of card with your photo on, and that gives you a sense of identity because it has your name on it. But also it allows you to have free parking at our hospital if you register. It enables you to go into all appointments with the person you care for if they agree. And if that person's in hospital, you can actually go and support them during that journey while they're in hospital, helping them perhaps retain their independent living skills. Or it may be that you're keeping their anxiety down by just being present and being part of that. And the care team look to you as part of that team and actually have discussions with you about the person you're caring for, rather than waiting for discharge and then maybe saying, by the way, he's coming home today. So I think that's been a big change on the island. We work very closely with our Alzheimer Cafe on the island in regards to our dementia training, which fits our dementia strategy. We do a 4-week training slot for carers living with someone with dementia. That's been very popular, and I think it really helps carers understand the illness. And often people think they should understand the illness, but actually, why would you? If you were learning Russian, it would take you 6 months to probably say, hello, can I have a pint of milk? You know, why do we think, any of us, including professionals, that we would learn about an illness so quickly? So if that's you and you're listening, you know, talk to your local carer centre and ask what training they do. We also have a training set up. It came from a focus group. We do various focus groups and listen to what carers need or want. And from that, they told us that actually caring for someone with a mental health illness, actually, when that person was beginning to fall ill, beginning to go into crisis, they wanted training around that on how they could better support that person and how they could get help. So we do that with our local community matron here at the centre. So we're always looking to adapt our services to support people and to meet the need rather than just do something because we've always done it. We do workshops, so life stories, hugely important if someone's not able to communicate easily, to have a life story, but people need help to put that together, to have that understanding. We have professional speakers come in. We have a ring round service that supports some of our more vulnerable carers with a regular call. Our key workers offer emotional support, resilience working workshops, because carers often their resilience is quite low. We carers are the last people to think about their own health and their own resilience. So our role is, once that caring role is more stable, is to look at to help and support you to build your resilience. We do contingency planning workshops. We have counselling. We have a loan library. So, for example, I had a lady who was fine in the day with her carers and her unpaid carers, but at night, living in supported housing, she kept phoning 999 5 times a night because she was lonely. And because she had dementia, she wasn't able to recall and stop doing that. So we lent her one of our companion robotic dogs. And that stopped her calling 999 again. But of course, they're quite expensive. And when you're on carer's allowance, it's a pittance, let's agree. It can be expensive. So that's why we have a little loan thing where we can loan for 6 months and then review. Obviously, information and advice. We have a self-care cafe, looking at our own self-care, relaxation, doing a creative activity. We run quiet days where you can go along. Because for some carers, actually being in a nice space where you can just have some quiet time for yourself, maybe a relaxation session, a shared lunch, it just makes such a difference when you're having a lot of noise at home. We do sound baths on the occasion. They're not as regular as I'd like. They're great fun. They won't let me bang any drums though. They say I'm too noisy. And we have a small gym session. We do the carers assessments. That's probably it in a nutshell. But if carers tell us there's something missing, like all the carers centres that you'll meet today, we look to see whether that service is already running. And if it's not, if we can adapt our service or find funding to run something. So I always say to people, it doesn't matter whether we advertise, whether we do it or not. If there's something missing and it's something that you need or you think you would like that would help support you, come and talk to us. And that goes for everyone on the call today. And we'll always do our best to find what you need or supply it or give you the next best thing. I think that's probably enough from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you very much. And as I said, we'll keep questions to the end. Are you happy to stay throughout? We'll keep questions to the end because I know people who may have people that care for them that live on the island, but they actually live over here as well, and vice versa. So that's been really, really useful. So thank you. So next is Jenny from the Princess Royal Trust for Carers. And I've got your slides, haven't I? So I'm just going to get them up for you.
Okay. I've not done a talk with slides before, so I usually just waffle.
Oh. It was Kerry who sent them.
Yeah, she's very organised.
I've shared my screen. Can everybody see the slides? Yeah. Brilliant. Over to you then, Jenny.
Okay. So my name's Jenny Little. I am the emergency plan team leader at the Princess Royal Trust for Carers. We are a charity that was founded by Princess Anne in 1991. and we're part of the larger Carers Trust. We are the current commission service with Hampshire County Council and the NHS to deliver the complex carer support and emergency and contingency planning scheme. So our team is ever expanding at the moment. We have our complex carer support workers. They're there to support unpaid carers across Hampshire. And it is only across Hampshire. We don't cover Southampton City or Portsmouth City. And they support carers with whatever they need support with, whether it's benefits, wellbeing and resilience, if they need referrals completed into occupational therapy or for carers assessments, we can support them to do that. We also, through the complex carer support team, we are able to do the referrals into Argenti, which is the telecare company that's commissioned by Hampshire County Council. They have the current contract. So if a person has a dementia diagnosis, our carer support team can refer into Argenti and they then get the telecare free of charge, as long as they don't already have a Hampshire County Council funded package of care in place. We have the Carers Emergency Plan and Contingency Planning Scheme as well. So that is there as a complete and utter backup. We have a conversation with the carer and we essentially draw up a plan so that if that carer, for any reason, is unable to provide care and support to the person that they usually care for, we would step in for 48 hours and provide a free care, whether that is a 30-minute pop-in visit or whether it's a 48 hours continuous care live-in package. Idea being it gives family, friends or local authority that 48 hours breathing space. If you know the carer is going to be out of action for longer than 48 hours, they can look at a plan moving forward. But also if a carer, you know, if they're just taken unwell, if they've got a dicky tummy or if they've put their back out and they just can't in that short, sharp period deliver the care they usually would, again, that's something the emergency care plan covers. The contingency plan is part of the new contract. So the contingency plan is a little plan that we draw up for things such as if the carer, for any reason, isn't able to go out and get the shopping, isn't able to go and collect the prescriptions. If, for example, they can't leave the person they care for home alone, but they have to go to a funeral or they've got a dental appointment, we draw up the contingency plan of somebody that's local in the area that is happy to come and either sit with that person for a couple of hours or go off and get some shopping for them or collect their prescriptions if needed, sort of the things that the emergency plan as such wouldn't cover. So that's a very new part of the service. We have, so across the county, we run carers hubs. So we've got 2 hubs in Farnborough and Fleet, and they we get support from NHS Frimley up there, and we do put on like wellness days for carers. We're also looking at training days. I think last time I did one of these talks, it was brought up about sort of having a moving and handling training day. So when people go out, and it's something that we're looking into getting put in place. We've also got other little groups around the county. So we've got one at Borovere, which is a care home in Alton. We've got a young onset dementia group in Romsey. We've got a carers group in Netley Court and one in Chandler's Ford. We also do virtual events, which are actually quite popular. Some of them have a long waiting list. So we've got a book club, we've got a baking club, we've got an exercise class, a singing class. So they're all advertised on the website, or if anybody wants more information, they just phone into the office and they can arrange that. We've also work in partnership with SGN, the energy company, energy provider, and we have SGN home and well hubs across the county. And we have 2 lovely ladies, and they have done energy training, tariff training, and they're there to support people You know, if they're not sure about their energy bills, if they think they're paying too much, things like that. And at these hubs, it's what we call a one-stop shop. So we have other stall holders there. So we'll have the Blue Lamp Trust, Hampshire Fire and Rescue, Hills, the Meals on Wheels people. We have a solicitor there to talk about estate planning, power of it, and care agencies. So people pop in and they can sort of talk to whoever and gather information that way. What else do we do? Gosh, it's just an ever expanding thing at the moment. It's just growing and growing and growing. But yeah, so we support any carers. So it can be as long as the person they care for is over the age of 18. So, and we go from learning disabilities, mental health, Parkinson's, motor neurone, dementia, cancer, everything. We do a lot of signposting. So if, for example, somebody has got Parkinson's, you know, we put them in touch with the Parkinson's Society, things like that. Make sure, you know, they've had their safe and well done by Hampshire Fire and Rescue, Blue Lamp Trust to do their home security check, key safes, things like that. And then obviously once we've sort of gone out and done what we call our initial, so you get all the nitty gritty out the way, as it were, we then sort of offer ongoing support based on the carer's well-being, resilience. You know, sometimes you go out and see a carer and you do a follow-up and they say, actually, we're okay at the moment. And so we make them aware they can refer back into service at any point. Other people do need that little bit extra support moving forward, because it's quite often the fear of the unknown, isn't it, when somebody gets a diagnosis. So yeah, so we just support carers, and if people need support with you know, appeals with benefits, or if they're having, you know, MDT meetings, things like that, we can support the carer in those meetings, and just help them sort of navigate the system. So, and with the emergency line, I should have said, it's manned 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24/7. So even in the night, if a carer's taken unwell, we're at the end of that phone and we can start getting the wheels in motion to get people there. I think that's it.
Thanks, Jenny. I wasn't very good at doing the slides, was I?
I'm not very good at sticking to the order of the slides.
We're Hampshire residents, and I've accessed your service and found it really helpful. So thank you. But and I'll put the link to your website in the chat in a minute.
Thank you.
We're going to ask questions at the end, everybody. Is that all right? Louise, is that all right? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let me just. I think Gina, you were next. Were you from Portsmouth Carer Centres? Right, my other screen's
Lovely.
just frozen. Yeah, please.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll just share my screen.
Thank you.
Okay. Can everyone see that? Should be a slide with a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can.
Lovely. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Gina from Portsmouth Carers Service, and we're part of Adult Social Care of Portsmouth City Council, and we can support any carers who are caring for a resident of Portsmouth. So that resident needs to be living in postcodes PO1 to PO6, and they couldn't manage without the support of their carer, and that includes adults caring for a child with additional needs. We support parent carers as well. So we're based at the Carers Centre in Orchard Road in Fratton and Southsea, and if you're ever in the area, please do pop in. It's an open access building. We're open Monday to Friday, office hours 9 to 5, 4:30 on a Friday. We've got our offices upstairs, and then downstairs we've got a large community kitchen area and 3 meeting rooms where we offer some of our carers breaks activities. And we work collaboratively with partners across the community and voluntary sector and the health and social care system to support carers. And as Jane mentioned, the theme of Carers Week this year is about equality, and we're committed to supporting carers to have equal opportunity to explore ways to support their own well-being, and think about the things that are important to them, their life goals, what they want to achieve, and their interests alongside their caring role. So we offer personalised support depending on your caring role and the type of thing that you'd find helpful. Often we initially find that carers are looking for reliable sources of information, and our website offers self-guided support. So we try to post there helpful information, links to community carer peer support groups, and reliable sources of condition-specific information and local services that people might find helpful. Carers can keep in contact with us and what's happening locally by subscribing to our newsletter or following our Facebook or Instagram accounts, where we try to share a variety of information that might be helpful to carers. And carers can contact us either by phone or email or via our Facebook, or they can drop into the centre. There's always somebody on duty who's ready to take time to have that initial conversation with somebody about their situation. And from there, we can look at creating a support plan to meet their needs. So that could be guidance on negotiating social care systems and sources of support for the person they're caring for, signposting to benefit specialists to make sure that they're receiving everything that's available to them, or activities to support their own physical and emotional well-being. And also having a look at people's training needs if they need to know more about the condition of the person that they're caring for. We can offer that, and that all important manual handling training to keep yourself safe if you're helping somebody to move about, that's offered via our colleagues at the City Council. So if people want to have a more in-depth conversation about your caring role, then the carers assessment is that opportunity to have a one-to-one meeting with a member of our team, and that could either be over the phone or in person at your house or at the carers centre. And that's the opportunity to look at how your caring role affects your life and your well-being and your goals in life, including looking at ways to get a break from caring and planning for an emergency. So we'll have a look at some of the services we offer. This is our Carers Breaks activity programme, which is it changes monthly, and it's a schedule of free activities for carers. They're generally about 2 hours long. And if you register with the Carers Service, you can receive a copy of this programme every month, either via email or post, to whichever you prefer. We have some cookery and wellbeing sessions. So the cookery sessions are generally...
We're going to go and see my property with Majid at 5. So you need to be here at 20 to 5, and I can take you to the...
Sorry. So there's some cookery sessions which take place in our centre, and we have wellbeing sessions that take place down at the community allotment in Milton. You can see some of the pictures there. I think the carers are making pizza in the kitchen there. They get to eat the one that's demonstrated, then everyone makes their own, and you've got a meal to take home. And you can see some carers there in the lovely green space down at the allotment, and that's a beautiful place to sit and relax, do a bit of green bathing, as they call it, and our lovely volunteers will make some snacks or a barbecue and just have a chance to relax, have a bit of fun, chat to people who are in a similar situation and know what it's like to be caring. And then we also have various drop-in sessions throughout the month. Some of them are like mindfulness and relaxation techniques, and some of them are creative activities. And the programme very much develops on the suggestion of the carers that come along. So that's something that's always growing and changing, and it's lovely to hear the laughter and smells coming up from the centre downstairs when the carers are in. So they really enjoy that programme. Our Carers Break Fund card, this is something that's accessible through the carers assessment. So if you're not able to attend any of those organised activities, or they're not for you, you can have a conversation in the assessment about what a break would look like to you, what you would like to do, and we can provide some funds on a prepaid card that you could spend on whatever you like to do. So some people might like to go out to the cinema, have a meal with friends, keep those important friends and family connections going, go and participate in sports or a favourite hobby. So that's something that's done on an individual basis in the carers assessment. But again, very popular with a lot of our working carers who can't always attend activities due to other commitments. Then we have our sitting service. Again, this is something that's explored in the carers assessment, where we'll see whether your situation is suitable for this service. So if you really can't leave the person you care for safely at home for any length of time, then we can help with a local domiciliary care provider to come and stay with the person that you care for while you get a break. This can be up to 6 hours a week, and it's funded by Portsmouth City Council. Generally, people start off with a few hours a week for them to get used to it, for the person being cared for to get used to it, and then if things progress, we can increase the hours. But also carers can have additional service if they need to attend their own medical appointments, because as Lizzie was saying as well, that your own well-being gets put on the back burner, and trying to get appointments and arrange things, it all becomes very difficult. So if we can support people to make sure they attend their own appointments, we try to do that as well. Emergency planning, as everyone's already said, is really important. What would happen to the person you care for if something happened to you? God forbid you're out doing the shopping and fall over, break your ankle or something like that, and get picked up by the ambulance, or if you're just feeling unwell. Having thought about what would happen and putting those things in place, a plan in place beforehand, can really help relieve some of that anxiety. So we have our carers emergency card that people can carry with them, and that would alert emergency services to the fact that somebody at home is relying on you. And then depending on your care role, that would depend how complex your plan needs to be or how detailed. If there are family members that know where everything is, they know the routines, then it's probably enough just to have their phone number. But if the situation's more complex, then we can help people to make that plan with basically everything that somebody would need to know if they were stepping into your shoes. How does that person like to be supported? What's their daily routine, medications, pets, how to get into the house, everything like that. It's a lot, isn't it? When you think about everything you do, it's a really big thing to put that plan together, and it can be over a couple of meetings that we do it. And we use some of the people can just write it out themselves, of course, or we use some of the tools that are available to carers to help them to do that, which is quite helpful. And then we can attach that care plan to the cared for's electronic care record with a marker on the carer record. So if anything was to happen to either one, there's a marker there that shows that there's an emergency plan in place, and emergency services or healthcare providers could access that, and hopefully make any emergency situation less traumatic for both the carer and the cared for by having all the right information in place. We also have a bed at the Shearwater Respite, at the Shearwater Care Home in Portsmouth. So Portsmouth's carer service has this bed reserved. Patients or people going into the bed do need to have a diagnosis of dementia because it's a dementia specialist care home. But again, this is something that's explored in the carers assessment, but really helpful for carers to be able to make a planned break. They can, of course, you never know what's going to happen people's health, whatever, if you're planning now for November, but they can book that in and start to make plans. There would be a care needs assessment for the person being cared for, and there would be a financial assessment to determine the funding arrangements. But very popular. I think at the moment it's booked out until November. If that's not available, we do have a brokerage system in Portsmouth where we can put requests out to the residential care homes for respite requests, and to try and help people to find something suitable if our bed's not available. At the moment, I'm just putting this in very cheekily. I am working on a project which is looking at enhancing our carers breaks and respite offer. It's a one-year project which is funded with the Accelerating Reform Fund from the Department of Health and Social Care. So whatever the findings are of this project, it gets put into an information resource that other local authority areas could share. So if something is working well in Birmingham, other people can use that model and try and implement it in their area. So we're talking to carers and health and social care professionals to gather data at the moment and find out what people are doing, what they would like to have, what does a break look like for them, and also importantly, what messages are other professionals sharing with carers when they get to speak to them? Are they telling them about all the services available? Do they know about them? And where do people find information? So I've got a couple of surveys out at the moment, one for carers and one for professionals, and I will put the links in the chat, and I'd be really grateful if you could share that with anyone involved with services in Portsmouth. So to get in touch with us, carers can contact us directly by phone, by email. There's a self-referral form on our website or our Facebook page. People can contact us via there, or they can drop in, and there's always somebody there ready to talk to them. If you're working with a family and you think these carers are quite overwhelmed, I don't think they're going to have time to make that phone call, you can refer them into us with their consent, obviously, and we would need their name, date of birth and postcode, and some background about their caring role. When we register a carer, we do register the person they care for as well, but if they haven't got joint needs, then we just have that information there about who they're caring for. We don't access their record. But if you haven't got that information, we can request that from the carer. So that's Portsmouth Carers Service. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you. I'm getting requests that can we have a copy of your slides to share? Would that be all right?
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
Oh,
and you, Jenny. Oh,
I'll have to find a way to compress them. I think if I save them as a PDF because they were a bit big.
PDF. Yeah.
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 Try
And Jenny, is
stop
that all
sharing.
right? Sorry, is that all right, Jenny, if we share the Princess Royal ones as well, please?
Yep, as far as I know, that's absolutely
Okay.
fine.
Brilliant. That answers that question. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Gina. Okay. So now I hand over to Debbie from Unpaid Carer Support Southampton. Debbie.
Hello, how are you guys? Right, I'll see if I can share my slides as well. 1 second. Got a couple of things to share, as long as I can get it sorted. Right. Can you see that, everyone? Yeah, lovely.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Jane. Hi, everybody. So I'm Debbie Hendry. I'm the service manager at Unpaid Carer Support Southampton. We used to be called Carers in Southampton. I became service manager just about nearly a year ago in July last year. I went back to be an assessor from a social prescribing role. I'd been at Carers in Southampton for about a year and a half, and I left to do a different role when I came back because I enjoyed it so much. So our service has changed a little bit. We offer free services for adults providing unpaid care to someone with a disability and ill health. And we're commissioned by the City Council and we come under Citizens Advice. So we're a project under Citizens Advice. And beforehand, we used to come under MenCap. So that's changed as well. So that's one of the differences. We always look at identifying unpaid carers, and we we've got a new leaflet. Actually, I've shared it with a few. I think went to all carers together, and I've shared it with a few people about identifying a carer, and that's what we've been trying to push in Southampton, as well as people that don't identify as carers, that we can discuss with them if they are an unpaid carer, because some people don't realise for a good couple of years that they're not a carer. It depends how they get into care. It could be suddenly a carer, it could be someone that's a family or a relative that is just doing what they think is loving their family or supporting their family. And we work with a lot of different cultures in Southampton. We've got a big mix of cultures that wouldn't recognise being an unpaid carer. So it's someone who provides care and support. It can be, as I said, a family, a friend, even a neighbour. The care they give is unpaid. Roles and responsibilities vary widely. So we say to carers, even if you're going to the pharmacy to provide support by collecting medication or doing some shopping or doing some extra washing, please talk to us, because we're open for a conversation, because you could be an unpaid carer for that person. Many carers don't want to identify as a carer. We come across this quite a lot. It can depend on whether they feel comfortable being known as a carer, or they don't want to be known as an unpaid carer because they want to have that kind of control over looking after the person they are looking after and supporting. And as we said, it can take 2 years to acknowledge their caring role. So what we have been doing with a few of the different people we work with is not using the unpaid carer name first. We speak to them and say, well, you're a husband who cares for your wife, or you're a sister who cares for your brother, because a lot of people want to still recognise that relationship. So we have conversations. It's all very individual. In our service, we support parent carers. So what we do is we speak to parent carers. We say to them, call into the service. Whoever's a carer, wherever they come from, they can call into our service, and we will guide them to the right people. So if it's to do with Hampshire, or if it's to do with the Isle of Wight, then we will guide them in the right direction. We've just produced recently a welcome letter for our service, and it's got information about other carer support on there that we can share with people if they're not able to access our service with the assessments. Parent carers, we are able to provide a carers card, but we also link in with the council, with children's services and other areas that provide support, the parent carer forums, the family hubs for those people who are parent carers. They can come to our events that we have as well. So they'll get a card and they'll come to our events, the parent carers, and we go to a lot of their awareness sessions. We go to a lot of their events to advertise the service for support, because we're finding as well a lot of the unpaid carer support is relevant to the whole family. So we're trying to link in and do some family sessions with children's services and with young carers. And recently the City Council have taken young carers back in house. So we link in with Emma, who works there. It used to be over by No Limits, but they've taken that contract back into house. Why don't carers tell you they're caring? They don't realise they're a carer. They worry about the person maybe taken into care or taken away. So any involvement sometimes is a bit worrying for people, but it's that conversation we have with them when they call in about the reassurance of we're there to give support and help them continue their caring role. As we said before, the language barriers, and they can be insulted. We use that word by someone calling them a carer because it's what they do naturally, and it's having a conversation with them about there is support out there for everybody. And also we find that I don't want to say it in front of the person they care for. So we've had conversations recently because Southampton City Council was changing its database for adult social care, and we're linking with them with the assessments. And we've had conversations about doing joint assessments with unpaid carers and the people they care for, and the fors and against about that, how that's going to play out really. And a lot of our carers want that space to talk by themselves. So we do the listening service where they can call in when they're not around their carer, or they can come to one of our events where they can chat to us and chat to other carers. And a lot of them have said they would prefer to talk away from the person they care for, both for them but also for the cared for. It causes a bit of upset and emotional upheaval really for both of them. And also we've got on here, one of these was you don't ask anybody if they're a carer. We might know somebody is a carer, but we're afraid to ask them. I'll share it in a minute, but in our new leaflet, we've used a carers quiz, and it asks people, and it can be a discussion around being a carer, and it's a tick box, and a lot of people like doing a quiz, so we've made it into a way on that on our leaflet. So we said about an unpaid carer, practical household tasks, personal care, emotional support, all that which we've all discussed as well. So we discussed that in our leaflet, and people don't realise that they're doing more. So it's identifying the carer. Sometimes they're doing more than they normally would. They're supporting somebody from different lengths of being a carer. So like we said, it could be someone all the way down the scale to looking after somebody who's living with dementia and needs that extra support. And people don't always realise that it is a journey. And we try and support them to say it's a long journey and things will be progressive as a carer, depending on how much care and what care you give. So we come across a lot of sandwich carers too, and we say to them, you know, this is what support you will need, and you can always call into our service for a chat and ask us if we've got anything that we could share with you to help your caring role. So this is what we offer as a service. So anybody that's in Southampton City Council, SO14 to SO19, which is sometimes a bit interesting because some of SO18 comes under Eastleigh and some of SO19 comes under Eastleigh, but we've got really good links with, like I say, Carers Together in Hampshire, and we've got good links with Connect to Support Hampshire as well. So we can give that person that information if they need to go to another carer provider. Signposting and information, backup planning, very similar to you guys. We do the backup plans and we put them onto the carers record on Southampton City Council, but we also give out the Lions tubs still, the green Lions tubs to our carers when we go out and discuss any backup planning. We have our carers cards as well. So the carers cards we've changed quite recently since last year. And we've put on the back of the carers card an emergency contact for our carers, but also adult social cares number and the out of hours number as well. So if again, like the carers passport and the card that Gina was saying about, if somebody comes across a carer that unfortunately has something happened to them, and they can find that card straight away and they know that someone's being cared for. Link to citizens advice, which has been brilliant really, because when it comes to carers benefits and when it comes to anything that citizens advice can help with, we link through them with a thing called ReferNet. You guys may have heard about it, and it's a really smooth way to refer them over to citizens advice if they need any support with anything. Age UK are also on that as well, which we will work closely with. We do carers lunches. We do them very regularly now. We've had carers learning lunches, carers wellbeing lunches. We've had carers physical lunches. We've been out for walks. Carers week this week. My lovely team, two of my lovely team have gone out for a walk in that horrible weather, and 5 people turned up, so it was lovely. We've just recently done, I'm a dementia ambassador for the Alzheimer's Society, so I deliver dementia friend sessions, and we had a dementia friend sessions yesterday for some carers, and we had 14 carers come who were caring for somebody living with dementia. So it was a really it was I say lovely and it's wonderful, but it's also very emotive, and it was a really good session. We listen to carers. So our service, you can call in at any time just to have a chat with somebody. Even after you've had your assessment, you can just call in and ask a question, or you can find out some signposting or chat to the person that did the assessment for you. We're just there. We're a very open service. And we've noticed since we moved over to citizens advice and more linked in with adult social care, we can view the record of the cared for person, which helps us provide a better service for the carer as well, because we know we can speak to them but also understand what they're caring for and what their care for conditions they've got as well, so we can support them with that. So that's really good. So this is how to refer to us. So always gain permission. We've had some, we've got that on our website now. It was overlooked a couple of times. Give details of the caring role through the website. You can refer to, you can phone us. We get lots of referrals from other organisations. We're very involved with organisations across the city. We haven't got our own hub. We haven't got a place we can have sessions, so we tend to go and source areas across the city. We've been working a lot with Asda. Asda have been brilliant and given us a free community room, and it's like a one-stop shop because you can do your shopping, come to an event, then go home. Good transport services is working wonders. And we also do a lot of work at Portswood Church as well. We don't do face-to-face very often. We haven't got the space for people to drop in, but if they want to drop in, we do make exceptional circumstances. For example, if a carer is hard of hearing, we invite them into Citizens Advice. We have to book rooms through Citizens Advice, but we're hoping that if things change in the future, we're always looking for a hub space, so we can provide that for them. We're looking at also, sorry, my thing stopped, sorry. We're looking at also, I'll stop sharing, expanding our service to some evening groups as well. From experience from carers, what they've said to us, we work a lot with working carers, and we've looked into support for working carers who, some of them work part-term, some of them come home in the evenings, and they need that peer-to-peer support. So we're looking at working with the social prescribers over in the east side of the city to start a group in a Salvation Army room, which they're going to donate to us for free. So we're always planning stuff, always trying to work out things which are better. The assessments we do via Southampton City Council, we do the assessments for them, and they've changed recently. So they've changed to initial assessments because we had such a backlog at carers in Southampton of assessments. It was changed last year, and the initial assessments take about 40 to 45 minutes, and we're finding that they're still given enough information for us to support the carer, but they're done quicker. They don't have to be with us for so long. Every carer is entitled, as we know, to a full Care Act assessment, but they don't always want to speak to us for that long, but they can come back and have the full assessment if they would like to. It's just around that person. The events that we've had so far, fire service, we have learning lunches, the fire service came in, we've had Mountbatten. I think it was Jenny that mentioned movement handling. We've had that with us. We've had a lovely we linked in with SoCo Music in Southampton, and we did a carers song, and it was absolutely wonderful. We found a lot of carers want to express their feelings and they're quite frustrated, and we find writing and singing is a really good way of doing it, a conduit of doing it. So we've also got a lovely carers choir, which is every Wednesday with the Mass Theatre. A lot of it, we're trying to do a lot of stuff. Although we do the practical stuff, we're trying to get the whole carer. We're trying to get the physical well-being, we're trying to get the mental well-being, and we're trying to get the, the practical support. So a lot of it is in discussion with carers, and we just see what they would like to do and who we can link with. We've got a lot of really good partnerships around Southampton. We had a mindfulness session for carers. Trying to think what's coming up. Carers Week has been so busy for everybody, isn't it? We've done awareness sessions at a mental health cafe. So yeah, our service, it's just what we say to people is we say, just call in, we can have a chat, and we will give you the correct information to signpost you to our partners, or you can have the information from us and come to us. I'll just show you our leaflet very quickly while I'm here. I was really proud of this. So it was I'll explain it. I think I've spoken to a couple of people about what happened with this leaflet. So this is I'll share it, 1 second. So I was fiddling about with them. Can you see that, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. So this is the leaflet we had originally, and we've got a few different covers for it. And my lovely admin lady, Ayla, she's amazing. And we had to order some more leaflets. We did a pharmacy campaign the last couple of weeks where we dropped off little packages to pharmacies, and we needed a bit more supplies. So we got this, and that's our normal one. She ordered two-sided by mistake. So we had a conversation, and she said, I know what I'll do. I'll put this on the back. So this is what was on the back, and this is the quiz I was saying to you about, and this is what we've got on our website as well. This leaflet has been absolutely amazing. It helps us talk to people, have discussions. People don't realise they're a carer. We go into the Gurdwaras, we go into the mosques, we go into the Hindu temples with this leaflet. The language barrier is sometimes there, but it's easier to explain. It's very clear. And if they tick more than 3 boxes, they can call us and register with our service. But if they don't tick more than 3 boxes, if they want to chat, they're very welcome to call in. So like I say, we never turn anybody away. We try and give as much information to the carers as possible. So that's about it. I mean, there's probably lots more that I've forgotten, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. You happy to share your slides with us as well, please?
Yeah, of course.
With the group and your leaflet, and I know we've probably got them, but if we can put it all together, that would be great afterwards. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, last but not least, Leanne from Hampshire Cares Together, or Cares Together Hampshire. Sorry, Leanne. Hi. Thank you for waiting patiently. Over to you. Oh, you're on mute. That button, it's a nuisance, isn't it?
Sorry, I'm not very technical. I'm Leanne Cooper and I work for Carers Together, which was launched in 1994, and it's a charity run by carers for carers. So we've all been carers at some point, which means we can relate to some of the things they're going through. We cover Hampshire. We have an office and a wellbeing hub at 9 Love Lane, which is quite close to the town centre, and we're open 9:30 to 2 o'clock Tuesday to Friday. We basically offer ways to support and help carers navigate their way through the minefield of social services and the healthcare system, and make them aware of what support's available to them, and basically make them feel empowered. They can drop in to us or make an appointment. We help with benefit forms such as attendance allowance and blue badge. And sorry, I don't like public speaking. We basically help. We provide a listening ear, so people sometimes drop in and just offload, understandably, and they can come in here to us and have a nice cup of tea and a coffee and feel better about things. Obviously, we indirectly help the person they're caring for as well in a positive way. We run quite a number of groups that they can pop into weekly. We have the Princess Royal Trust coming in. They come in once a month to talk about energy supplies. We have Diabetic Aware Group, a dementia drop-in, which we do in partnership with the Princess Royal Trust and Hampshire and IOW, which was Southern Health, wasn't it? We have a Romsey Carers Cafe where they come in and have some fish and chips. And again, it's just a general chat session and catch up with some people. We have the Macular Society coming in once a month. We have a pain clinic, which is a referral only, but they use our facilities once a month. We have a craft group. We have the Quakers use it twice a month, and we, since March, have started a Parkinson's Cafe in conjunction with Parkinson's UK. And I just did this session this morning. We had 33 people turn up. The room just about holds that many people. That's a really popular group. We have that twice a month because unfortunately we haven't got a Parkinson's nurse in Romsey, so the support from Parkinson's is not very good at the moment for this area, but we're desperately trying to campaign about that. You may have seen the Parkey Charter, which is going around. If you do, please sign it, because we're trying to get more of a say in government to try and get Parkinson's UK nurse in this area. It's greatly needed. When we first did it, the first session, we had 70 people turn up, and it's a little room that holds about 45. So I was having palpitations about health and safety. We run a Facebook page group, which is updated daily, really, and we do a monthly newsletter, which professionals or clients can sign up for. Again, it's what's happening locally, what we're doing, what's happening nationally. We have a call line, which is managed every day of the year. It's a free service, Monday to Friday, 10 to 8 p.m. So they can just, again, call and just get some support and offload. We are hoping to do some new groups soon. We're hoping to do a movement to music group. Just try and encourage people to be a bit more active with their life and prevent falls. We're also hoping to do a loss and a bereavement group, but not necessarily just loss of a partner, loss of, as you age, your life changes, you become retired, you're not so active, you may not have the same friends you had before. So just the change of routine and the change of circumstances is a loss in itself. So we thought that'd be quite good. We're also asking, getting a lot of people wanting to come just as carers without their partners, because most of our groups you can bring your partner with you, and although that's lovely, you're quite mindful about what you say in front of them. So we're hoping to have a group that does that. Our community and wellbeing hub has recently been refurbished because we've got the comfy chairs now. We've got 3 rooms, one I'm in now, where professionals can hire them out to talk in private. We've got the NHS doing blood pressure and assessments, which has just recently started. So they're using one of the rooms. They're coming once a month. Sorry. We're registered as a warm hub, so obviously they can come in for a warm drink, especially in the winter, and we put on some games and activities if needed. We offer a small break service, so if somebody comes into Rothesay and they've got a doctor's appointment or they want to just pop into the shops, they can leave their loved one here as long as they're reasonably able, and we're providing them a cup of coffee and a little chat and newspaper and things while they go and do what they need to do. We've got free use of laptops in our hub. And again, we have someone, not myself, but somebody else who's digital able to help them with their phones and tablets and computers and things. We're the alternative office for the DWP. So we're helped with the benefit forms. And we have also gone to tribunals as well to contest things if needed. We offer some training sessions on end of life care and support planning and carers' rights. We work in co-production with other organisations as much as we can. We help with lasting power of attorneys as well and LAPs. We also have a free counselling service as well, where we can refer people to our counsellors. We work in conjunction with Hampshire Neurological Alliance as well. That's a 3-yearly meeting, and we have a knowledge network where we send out relevant emails about what's going on in the community and research. We try and get involved with research if we can. We are currently running a household support and supermarket vouchers. I believe the Royal Princess Trust are doing the same. We're coming up to around 7 of that. Absolutely amazing. We're overwhelmed with people. They're getting the shopping vouchers or the household support items, such as a new fridge or new laptop. That's my best part of the job at the moment. I love giving away things. These carers do not get enough support. And there's so many additional costs to caring, like the parking and the travelling and the extra equipment you need. So for them to get this is really good. We also have an umbrella group called the New Forest Carers Friends, and they provide relaxation days and outings for carers, so we work with them. So I think that's most of the things we do. I hope I haven't missed anything. Thank you very much.
Well done, Leanne. That was brilliant. Thank you very much. I know we work in Hampshire and IOW Healthcare. We work with all of you. So over to questions. I mean, we're trying to keep up with the chat function and put in your websites and things. But has anybody got any questions for any of our amazing Louise?
Thanks, Jane. I'm sorry I joined a bit late, so I might have missed something, but I think I understood that the Princess Royal Carers Trust doesn't provide support for people who care for people under 18, and I just wondered why, or did I completely misunderstand that?
Because we're not commissioned to. So we can support carers age 18 and above, looking after people aged 18 and above, and likewise, parent carers, as long as their dependent is over the age of 18. It is something we discuss all the time, but at the moment we're not commissioned to provide that service.
Because quite a few people in our carer groups, they're children of 15, 16, 17, so they wouldn't be able to access your support.
Not at this moment, no.
Okay.
I mean,
Thanks.
we don't ever turn anybody away for advice and information, but obviously they couldn't have a carer's emergency plan or anything like that.
There is young carer support with the Hampshire Young Carers Alliance in Southampton, Portsmouth, and on the Isle of Wight as well. So it is available.
Sorry,
Sorry,
I've just got one more question,
all right.
which is the Southampton and the Portsmouth support that you provide. How wide is the area that you support? How far outside? How wide do you have to live to support it, to access it?
Gina, you mentioned postcodes, and so did you, Debbie, didn't you?
For us, it's anyone who's paying their council tax to Portsmouth City Council. So that is generally anyone living in postcodes PO1 to PO6, but there is a small cohort of people living in PO7 who live in properties that are owned by Portsmouth City Council and pay their council tax to that. So yes, but generally it's PO1 to PO6 for Portsmouth Carer Service. But again, like all of the other services, if anybody phones in, we would speak to them, give some informal advice, and make sure we connect them to the right services in their area.
Hi Louise, we're the same as Gina. We're Southampton City Council based, so anybody that gets pays their council tax to the City Council we can provide support for, but as everyone said, we wouldn't turn anybody away, we'd forward them to the right people.
Yeah, and we always say it's where you pay your council taxes normally, how you can find out as well. I've just put the Hampshire Young Carers Alliance in the website and the Hampshire Parent Carers, but if anybody else can share what's available in their regions for young carers and Southampton Portsmouth, that would be great, please. Okay, Katie.
Hi, can I just ask if the Carers Together organisation support parent carers, so parents looking after children under 18 with health issues?
They'll be able to apply for the supermarket vouchers and the grants, and we are starting to do more for younger people. It was mainly just older adults, but we have been getting a lot more younger people come to us, so yes.
So it's more for the parents. So I work in a role supporting parents whose children are in tier 4.
Sorry.
So no, that's right. So it's the parents that I'm trying to signpost to carers groups in Hampshire. But as someone else was saying, the Princess Trust one doesn't cover them. So your organisation would be able to offer like advice on benefits and things like that. Is that part of what you do?
We can offer advice on benefits and things, and we are hoping to commence a group for parent carers. We just haven't got off the ground yet because, like you said, there is a great need for parent carers. Do often get forgotten. It's normally young carers or older carers. There is that gap. So I'm working to try and get that sorted.
No, thanks. So it is okay to signpost them at the moment, but towards you. But at the moment, it's a slightly limited sort of offering.
It is, but obviously we would also encourage them to speak to the social prescribers that are their GPs as well, because they can provide more resources, and also Connect to Support Hampshire. There's a number of resources and groups on there as well that might be helpful to them.
It's brilliant. Thank you, Leanne. Appreciate that.
Yeah, the Connect to Support Hampshire website I did put in the chat function link, and there is the Hampshire Parent Care Network as well. But thank you. Right, Jan?
Hi, thanks for all the information, everybody. It's really good to know what's going on across our piece of England. I just wondered, who would we need to work with, or who could we work with up here in Basingstoke to develop a carers centre or a carers hub? Or should we be looking to signpost people to Frimley and Fleet for the Princess Royal Trust hubs? Jane, you won't be surprised I'm asking this, but what are your thoughts?
So we do have a SGN hub that runs in Basingstoke at the moment. You can obviously send us through information to info@carercentre.com and we can have a look at it. We're always, sorry?
Where is it?
The SGN hub. Oh, now you're going to put me on the spot. Bear with me. It is.
What do you mean SGN? Sorry, I'm being really.
So it's the energy hub. So that's where we've got the energy advisors, but we also have carer support workers there as well, to offer carer support, and that's where we have all the other professionals, such as solicitors. So it's at the. No, why can't I find it anywhere?
Is it Winkleberry? Is it a place called Winkleberry near Basingstoke or in Basingstoke?
No.
No.
Unless it's one that's currently being looked at. Because with the hubs,
Winkleberry is an estate of Basingstoke.
Yeah, so with the SGN hubs, we move them around. So they're in a place for sort of 1-2 months. And then we look to moving it because obviously Hampshire is so vast. So although at the moment we've got a hub down in the New Forest in New Milton, that leaves a lot of the New Forest that doesn't have an SGN hub. So in a minute that's going to move as well. But again, they're always advertised on our Facebook page and website. Or again, you can phone into head office and they can give you the information over the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm thinking more broadly about, carers' needs and, activities and all the lovely things we've been hearing are provided in Portsmouth and Southampton.
Yeah, again, because we're the commission service, we have a contract to follow, as it were, with Hampshire County Council. And unfortunately, under the new contract, Hampshire did put any sort of money aside for the groups and things. So we've got running what we have got running, but we are always open to ideas. And obviously, if we can get freebie halls and things, it is something we never say no to. But yeah, at the moment, we have only got the SGN hub in that area.
Yes, yeah, I'm with Jan because Basingstoke is a really big town, nearly joining Winchester, and we always feel we do get a bit left out because I know there's a group in. That's coming me from my carer head, by the way, Jenny.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's some in Alton, aren't there?
We've got some in Alton.
Borovere, did you say?
Yeah, so we've got Borovere. We've got a new one in Odium. We've got one in Yateley. Sort of in the sort of harder to reach areas, as it were. But again, they're very new off the ground. So at the moment, like I say, it is an ever expanding service. So yeah, sort of watch this space, keep an eye on the website, on the Facebook page, because new things are popping up. We're still sort of very early on in the new contract, as it were.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Lucy. Can't hear you, Lucy. I'm not good with technology, Lucy. No.
You've got
Oh,
earphones plugged in.
Lucy, look at the very top of your screen and you should have the icons: chat, people, raise, react, view. There should be a little sign of a microphone up there. You click on that and that should take you into well, you're off at the moment. You should be able to should be able to speak. Yeah, might be a technical problem.
Unless you've got earplugs plugged in, it might be stopping it.
Or can you put the question in the chat function, Lucy?
Can you speak there?
What?
Oh, there's audio settings under the more.
Hold on, how about now?
Oh, yes.
Hey,
Yes,
sorry.
that's
Oh, good. Sorry. We don't normally use Teams, sorry.
Okay.
Right, sorry about that, guys. It was just a question for Jenny in terms of the emergency care that you provide. How many times can that be accessed? Is there kind of like a limit on that?
No, so it's every time we have what we call an activation, it's a case by case basis.
Yeah.
If somebody is activating, so you essentially get your 48 hours free care, then they go back to their caring role, and then 2 days later they're phoning to activate again for carer stress, carer burnout. If this is a continuous cycle, we then would make Hampshire County Council aware, because actually this is an ongoing issue.
Right. Okay.
If somebody were to activate their plan, because they've got chest pains, so the paramedics have taken them to hospital, they've activated their plan, 48 hours they're back on their feet. If God forbid they were then to step outside the front door, fall over and break their leg, that's a whole new story.
Okay.
So it is a case of, if it is carer burnout happening more and more, essentially, Hampshire County Council, or if they were self-funding, they need to be looking in at putting in extra support and help around that situation.
And then can I just ask quickly as well, in terms of respite care, because I know that you offer that as well, don't you? No, do you not? Oh.
No, we only do the emergency plan.
Okay.
We can do the referrals to Hampshire County Council with the view to respite.
Okay, so
and obviously, we would do referrals for carers assessments with the view to accessing take a break. But no, we don't actually provide respite, as it were.
So you would just signpost to the relevant,
or like I say, we could do the referrals for them, because we all know, sitting on the phone, it can sometimes take 30-40 minutes to get through, and carers sometimes just do not have that time to do that. So we can do a professional referral online to get them into the wheels, as it were.
Okay. And would that then go forward for an assessment? Because if people are paying for care already but they need respite, is that something that would be referred back to adult social care?
So I mean, it all comes down to money, doesn't it? So if they know they are well over the threshold, Hampshire County Council could look at getting a respite placement, but obviously then that incurs administration fees, brokerage, things like that. If they know they are over the threshold, and if they are able to do so, it is sometimes worth we signpost them to Connect to Support. You've got Marketplace, A to Z of every residential placement in Hampshire, and just do the research, really.
Okay. No, that's really helpful. Thank you. We often signpost a lot to you guys, so it's just kind of just understanding the level, that you can support. So thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay. Just one last question for me. We hear a lot about the trauma that carers, families go through themselves in their caring role. Do you do any support for anything like that? Anybody?
Is that like sort of anticipation grief and things?
Yeah, because they live through the traumas too, don't they?
I used to work a lot with Butterflies Bereavement in Romsey. I used to have quite a good contact there called Paul, but I believe he's left now. And Butterflies did actually put on a service back in the day. This was before COVID. I don't know if they still do it, but that is what they were set up for. So, and it was called anticipation grief support. So if somebody had a diagnosis, whether it be dementia or cancer, and the person and the carer knew sort of what was going to happen sort of in the future, they actually had support specifically for that. It is something we do support day to day, obviously not to the extent of counselling as such, and unfortunately there are sort of no definite answers you can give somebody, are there? If somebody says my my loved one's just been diagnosed, you know, with lung cancer. How long have they got left? It's just not an answer you can ever give. So yeah, it's just really supporting and listening to their concerns and worries. And we do sort of signpost to other services out there. I do a lot of signposting to Mountbatten Hospice. They're phenomenal people. So yeah, it's just making them aware we can do what we do, but there are services out there. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We have unpaid counselling service that we can refer people to. Again, like you said, Butterflies. I believe they're still running their services, and St James Scarf House. They provide counselling and cancer groups as well. So there are places out there again that support Hampshire. We refer a lot of people to because they've got places that are going on.
Thanks, Leanne. Gina.
Hi, Jane. Yeah, we don't provide any counselling directly ourselves, but talking therapies in the service in the Portsmouth area do offer support for people with anticipatory grief and big life changes and things like that. But also the Rowan's Living Well Centre, if the person you're caring for has been affected by life-limiting condition, they've got a fantastic support offer for carers there as well. If you can get to that area, they're based in Purbrook, just north of Portsmouth. But carers of people with the long-term condition or life-limiting condition can register with them, and there's counselling, holistic support. Some of their services are online, some are in person, so it's well worth. I'll put their website address in the chat. It's well worth looking at those services as well if people can get to that area.
Thanks, Gina. Debbie?
Yeah, very similar. Jenny mentioned Mountbatten, didn't you, Jen? I think, and we were saying about we linking with them to do some support with anticipatory grief, but also yesterday we did a course with that as well, with a dementia session, and we're linking a lot with the Alzheimer's Society information because they provide so many different pamphlets that we look at those and share those with our carers. But also we're lucky at Citizens Advice as well, because we have a caseworker that is connected to Macmillan, and we can do a lot of support with her, so that's quite lucky. And we link in with Maggie's, so I think a lot of the stuff is partnership and collaboration work with us with that kind of thing.
Thanks, Debbie. Yeah, there's a lot of people with trauma, with people living long-term mental health conditions as well, and in and out of psychosis, things like that. Thank you. Cindy.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I have a question based in the New Forest. Is there a carer's card for this area?
No, we don't.
Leanne, is there one? Do you know?
I don't think there is at the moment. I think that is something we need to look into, especially as I've seen that every other area's got one. So I think that's something we need to think about.
Okay, and the New Forest huddle you talked about, how do you get in touch with that group?
Oh, the Hyde huddle?
Yes.
Yes. I haven't got their contact details to hand, but that is, I believe it is set up as a sort of dementia and carers group. But I know historically I had people going there who didn't have dementia. But it was quite a big group. Unfortunately, I haven't actually really been out on the road since lockdown. So, but I know it is still running. You've also, if it's dementia that you're looking for, you've got the Totten Dementia Hub. And that's run by Kellen Lee and her team. They've also got one in Titchfield and Portchester. But that is every Monday at Totten and Ealing Community Centre, apart from the third Monday of the month. But off the back of that carers group, they also have art groups and things for the person living with dementia. So they do quite a lot in the Totten and the Waterside area.
Okay, thank you. And I found something I'll put in the chat function as well about the New Forest as well. So I'll put that.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Lizzie.
It was just in response to your question about trauma. We have linked into a local institute that trains for counselling, and we have 2 of their year 4 counsellors each year who can offer free counselling. And again, as the other girl said, linking into Mountbatten on the island as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you. Are there any more questions? We'll share all the information that we get with everybody here. I hope everybody who works in Hampshire and Isle of Wight healthcare picked up that there is manual handling available for carers across all the agencies. I mentioned it as well. So remember to signpost to that, because I know that's been a query been coming up. I would just like to say a great big thank you. Looking at the chat function, everybody's found this really, really helpful, and sharing all that information that all of you provide across Hampshire and Isle of Wight has been really beneficial for them. So I think it's a really good thing to do during Carers Week. So I thank everybody who came along to give their time to speak and share what they do in their in their organisations, and thank everybody for coming and joining us and listening and asking all those great questions. And I'll put the our email address in the chat function as well in a minute, Ellie. So if anybody's got any questions, send them to us, but also please contact everybody directly. Their websites have been shared and they're happy to help you. So thank you very much. Thank you. And have the rest of a good day. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.